Hello there, we are ready. Hi, welcome to the webinar about how to regain confidence in yourself and your horse. You're very welcome to write in the chat if you can hear me and see me, because then I know everything is working just as planned. This webinar is running in something called Webinar Jam, and that means it's based on Google Hangouts, and that means there's a slight delay between what I sit here doing and before it reaches your screen. So there's approximately a 30-second delay, maybe a bit more. And that means that if you ask a question in the chat, which you are very welcome to do during the webinar, there will be a slight delay before I notice the question, and there might also be a delay before I answer it if it doesn't fit in right away. But that also means that if there's some sort of problem, I might not notice it immediately. I see a lot of people signing in here perfectly, and you have visual and audio. Perfect, so we're good to go. The plan for today is I'm going to present you with some knowledge, a bit of my background. Why am I doing this stuff? Who am I? I'm sitting here in Denmark, and why am I doing these webinars? And then I'm going to present you with some tools that you can go out directly use next time you're with your horse, that can hopefully help you regain confidence, regain the trust between you and your horse. And then for those who want more, I have a bigger online training schedule that I will tell you about in the end. So please feel free, ask questions in the chat during the webinar. I might not answer them straight away, but there's time in the end. We will be doing this, it will take approximately an hour. And in the end, we have time to answer all your questions. So let's get started. First of all, who am I? As I said, my name is Merete. I am based in Denmark. I have a small riding school, which I've been doing as my only job for the last 3 years. I've been teaching kids to ride. I've been teaching adults to ride. I have an instructor education from somewhere called Blueberry Hill, a Danish instructor called Susan Kjærgaard, who has previously been Grand Prix show jumping rider, but has now mainly her focus is on good training, evidence-based training principle, learning theory, biomechanics, stuff like that. And she has made an instructor education because she couldn't help all the Danish riders that needed help. So now I think we are 25 instructors, and more coming each year, based all over the country. And why am I doing this? I started doing online courses 2.5 years ago because I do a lot of clicker training, and I work a lot with riding safety, and I wanted to be able to help people in the other end of Denmark, even if they were only maybe 2 people in one city and 1 people in another city. I wanted to be able to help them regardless of geography, location, whether they were able to trailer their horse to a clinic or not, or could get enough people to do a clinic. So I've been doing online courses for a couple of years now. And then last year, someone asked me, because I have a lot of my students, which I go and teach live when I give riding lessons, are scared riders, because I have been a really scared rider, and I will come back to that in a moment. But I have worked a lot with it. I have a lot of tools, and now I kind of attract other scared riders because I can help them, and that the rumor goes around. And then someone from another part of Denmark said, well, couldn't you do an online course for scared riders or unconfident riders? And I said, well, it's mostly about the breathing and stuff, and that might be a bit hard to do. But I did it. I set up a course in Danish, did a webinar, set up a course, and it works. I found out I can actually give you guys some tools that will help you regain the confidence in you and your horse. So I've been doing this for about a year in Denmark now. I've had like 65 people to my confident on my Danish confident on horseback course, and they are making some awesome progress. So I decided, well, it's not only Danes who get scared of riding. We have a lot of people all over the world who get scared of riding, and it's a bit of a taboo. You can't really say in most countries, at least, you don't go and say, well, actually, I'm kind of scared. I don't feel confident. I don't want to do that jumping, or I don't want to go on that trail ride, or I don't want to canter because I don't feel safe. It's not something you do. If you feel like that, most of the time you say, well, what can I do to make myself feel safer? How can I control my horse better? Can I use some extra reins, some bigger bits, some other saddle, some gear, some stuff to help control the horse? But the truth is, the more tag and stuff you put on the horse, it doesn't help how scared you feel inside. You don't get confident by putting more tag on your horse. You just get, maybe you feel more like a failure because, well, now I can most definitely stop this horse, but I'm still scared. So what I'm going to teach you today is some practical tools. You can go out, some tips to work on yourself to help you overcome your uncertainties about you and your horse. I would love to hear from you in the chat. Please write what is your biggest challenge or your biggest problem with you and your horse. What is holding you back from doing exactly what you want with your horse? And if you're just here to see what did I have to offer, and maybe you're not scared, or you have students who are scared or something like that, feel free to write that as well. So while you're writing and thinking, I will just give you a short heads up on why I got scared, because I've always been a bit a careful rider. I wasn't a very brave rider. When I was a kid, I liked jumping. If I knew the horse would jump, if it didn't stop or turn or go the other way or something like that. But I wasn't one for riding those horses that bucked or reared or did strange things. Then when I was in my 20s, I bought my first horse while I was at university, and then she was a horse that spooked a lot. And it turned out that she, almost every time we were riding somewhere, she would spook and she would turn around and she would run. It worked nice. Her brakes worked nice, so I could just stop her again, but I got gradually more and more scared on the inside. I tended to ride with a tighter rein, and even though I was starting to do some horsemanship training and we were riding on a loose rein, and I was still building up a lot of tension inside. And I had this pony for 10 years or something like that, and it never really got really good. We got better. She became less scared, but I still had the experience that I was always writing with a bit of attention. Then I noticed something funny in the last couple of years I had her, that if someone else wrote her, she didn't spook. And if I had writing lessons, she didn't spook. Because then if someone else wrote her, they didn't sit there all prepared for disaster. And if I had writing lessons, I was totally focused on the dressage thing is doing stuff, and she didn't spook. Then I moved to where I currently live, and then I found Susan Kærgaard, my instructor, and she had a visit from an English lady called Amanda Barton, who is doing some awesome clinics. And she's also an NLP coach and really helps people with traumatic stress and really anxiety issues and stuff. And she has helped me a lot. It has been really giving me a lot of tools. I was at my first clinic with her 4 or 5 years ago, and it is still that I have built on that. And that is why I'm doing this now, because I have really moved from being really scared, almost not riding at all, just going, having my horse in the backyard and grooming and mucking out and feeding and spending all my money on the horse, but not really doing anything with it. And now I'm actually riding, I'm trail riding, I'm starting to do small competitions, and I have really used these tools to regain my own confidence, and I want to give some of that to you. So that is why I'm here, that is why I'm doing this. And I can see Rose has written a comment in the chat. She was thrown a few years ago and lost her confidence, and that is really common, and especially as we grow older, most of us tend to get more careful. A lot of us notice that when we have kids, suddenly we realize we are not immortal anymore. We probably never were, but maybe we wasn't so aware of it. And a lot of riders lose their confidence when they get thrown off. I actually haven't had a bad fall in years, but I had so many near misses that I was getting really, really tense and really unconfident. So if you lost your confidence, either because you've fallen off a horse, or you almost fallen off a horse, or your horse has run away with you, or your horse spooks a lot, or you're just feeling stiff and unconfident, I'll tell you a bit about what can we do about this, because we have to think about that we have something called a comfort zone. And I'm going to show you a slide in a minute. Because this comfort zone, it gets increasingly smaller when we are getting scared. We can see here we have this figure here, the green one in the middle in here. Oops, that was not what I meant to do. The green one in the middle in here, that's the comfort zone. That's everything we are confident about doing. Everything feels fine when we're in here. Breathing's nice, we're relaxed, it feels good. Then we can go out to the yellow zone. That's the zone for development. That's where things start to feel a bit more difficult. Maybe you start to breathe a bit faster, your heart rate goes up a bit, you get a bit tense, you have to really work to control yourself, to stay confident while being out here in the development zone. And then out here in the red zone, we have the danger zone. The danger zone, that is where it becomes too much. because this is where you get really stressed out, you get really scared. And if you're out here too long, if you stay out here, that's where chronic stress starts. So we have to get from the comfort zone. If we're just in here, it's all nice and comfortable, and maybe at the moment it's all nice and comfortable walking in the indoor arena with your horse, or just leading him by hand, or maybe that isn't even comfortable. But as long as you're in here, if you never get out of the comfort zone, then what will happen is the comfort zone will shrink. If you don't challenge the comfort zone, it will get smaller. So what we need to do is we need to be aware of how to start stretching the comfort zone. We need to go out here in the development zone, stay out here for a bit. It might only be a few minutes, and then get back and consolidate what we just learned in the comfort zone. Then when we're comfortable again, the heart rate is down, everything is okay, breathing is going perfect, we can go back out to the development zone, maybe just for a few minutes, and get back in here. And what will happen is we will expand the comfort zone. So a small comfort zone will get bigger. If we don't do anything, it will go the other way. The comfort zone will shrink. And what we maybe could do 6 months ago, we can't do today without getting scared or feeling unconfident. If something happens and we end up out here in the danger zone, it's not a problem, as long as we are able to go back to the comfort zone. Maybe getting back to the comfort zone involves getting off your horse. I'm just going to close this again so you can see me. Maybe getting back into the comfort zone might involve getting off your horse and leading him by hand for a while before getting back on. And that's no problem. You're not going to lose any points or make him feel like the winner or anything like that. It's just a way to fix things. Horses don't collect points. What you have to be aware of course, is that if the horse is doing some really bad behavior and that might make you get off, that might be a reward for him. So next time you have to see, can I prevent the behavior getting so bad that I need to jump off? Can I maybe jump off before the behavior gets too bad, or turn around or do something else? What you can do to keep your mind on track, that we have to develop, constantly challenge this comfort zone, because we have to keep pricking at it a bit, because if we don't keep sticking our fingers at it and moving out a bit, it will shrink on us, and in the end we will sit like this and feel we can't do anything. It happened to me 3.5 years ago. I had a kind of a bit of a revelation, because I was standing in the indoor arena up at Blueberry Hill during my instructor training. We were at a clinic, and one of my co-students, she had to ride her horse in the indoor arena, and it was the first time this horse was in this indoor arena. And she took her horse in, a very nice gelding, took her horse in, went to the mounting block and got on her horse and started riding around. And I was like, panic, because I felt, well, she would at least have to walk the horse around a bit in the arena. What if he got scared? What if he didn't like the far corner? What if something happened? What if the noises of the cars made him scared? I got so scared when she just got on. And of course the horse was perfectly all right going in the arena. There was nothing wrong with him. But I really felt my comfort zone had gotten so small that I couldn't even look at other riders doing something I might have found dangerous to do. So that's when I decided that I had to do something. So in the evening on the same clinic, when Susan said, well, who's going to do a lunging lesson with one of her big horses? I said, well, I'll do it. And I went over in the stable and I found the biggest, brownest horse, which was of course very nice, but it was very big. I have Icelandics and other large ponies, so it was a big horse, and I was a bit like, ooh, and it had carpets on and blankets, and I had to hold this horse and get it over to the indoor arena, and of course everything went fine, but it was really a challenge. But it was still, I was in the development zone. I knew she wouldn't have sent me to get a dangerous horse, but it was, I started stretching my comfort zone. And after that, when I got home, I started thinking about, well, how can I stretch this? How can I expand my comfort zone so I actually can do the things I want to do? So an exercise for you, after you've done this, when we're done here, I would suggest you you can either take a piece of paper like this and have the green one in the middle and the yellow and the red, and then you write down everything you can think of that you can comfortably do with your horse. That could be trailering, that could be walking in the arena, that could be leading him from the ground, that could be doing different kind of agility, trick, whatever, obstacle courses led by hand or written, or whatever you feel is you can comfortably do. And then out here you write, what can you do not so confident? It's still okay, you can do it, but you have to convince yourself. You can feel the heart rate going up a bit. You have to work on staying calm out here. And you can write out here, well, what can't you do? And it can be, there's like two things, both out here and out here. There's the things that you're scared of, like the horse is running or bucking or spooking. And there's also doing show jumping courses or cantering on trail rides or something like that. Stuff that you would like to do, but you are way too scared to do at the moment. So there's like the things you're really scared of that you don't want to happen. And then there's the things that you would actually like to do, but right now you just don't have the confidence to do it. Hope that makes sense. So we have like stuff you can do now, stuff you can do, but you're not comfortable doing it, and stuff that is really scary. Whether it's bad stuff happening to you and your horse, or it's the stuff of your dreams, that the cantering into the sunset part, what you would really like to do, but right now you don't have the confidence to do it. Or the skills, or the horse don't have the skills. It's both a confidence and a skill thing. You can also do, and then remember to write down the date, because when you start working on expanding your comfort zone, what should happen is that the things out here in the yellow zone, they will wander into the green zone. And some of the things out here in the red zone, some of the things you're scared about, they might actually disappear from here. They're not something you think about anymore. And some of the things out here that you couldn't do today, well, maybe in a couple of months, you can do them. You don't feel comfortable doing them, but you can do them. So that's like you move things in towards the center. If you don't train, if you don't do anything, things will move from here and outwards, and you don't want that. You can also do this, maybe if you don't have enough room, you can of course just have a piece of paper and write on top comfort zone and development zone and red zone, or you can have like paper in different colors, and then you just write down, remember to write the date, and then you write all the things you can do, and all the things you can do but uncomfortably, and all the things that you can't do. And you can even, if you have this one, then you can have the I can't do, and it scares me if my horse would do that, and I can't do but I dream of doing. so that you can actually, this could be kind of your dream sheet. This is what you would really like to be able to do. And you can also on this one have half of what is the things that, yes, that makes me uncomfortable. It makes me a bit scared. Maybe if your horse starts trotting when it should only be walking, that takes you out in the development zone. And then you can come back to the comfort zone if you can slow him down. But maybe you dream of doing, you could go to a, when you were signing up a week ago or so, somebody asked me, could I also do this course for just if I have show nerves? And yes, maybe going to a show is going out here in the development zone, and you dream of going to the show and being calm and being at your best to help your horse, because if we get nervous, the horse gets nervous. It's contagious. So what you dream about, that is right now at the moment, it's hard to do, how that should be. So that is a little challenge for you afterwards. And I will just spend a minute going through the notes here. And while I do that, I would like you to sit down for a minute, close your eyes, and imagine if you could do anything you wanted to do with your horse, what would that be? What are you dreaming of doing with your horse? If you had any choice, if you wasn't scared at all. And you can just share it with yourself, or you can share it here in the chat, and try to imagine the feeling of this. And I come back to why that is important in a minute. Yeah, now I read your comments. I can see a lot of you have spooky horses or have had spooky horses, and either you're challenged by your current horse spooking, or the unconfidence sitting in your body being afraid that the new horse will spook. And in a minute I will come to some exercises that you can do to help expand the comfort zone, because of course it's not just enough deciding, well, I have to expand my comfort zone. We have to find ways of doing it so we can work with it in a controlled way, and in a way where we're setting us up for success. Yay. So I'm going to give you two things. These are the two tools, two important tools that you can go out and use next time you're with your horse. And that works regardless of your riding, if you're riding competitions, if you're trail riding, if you're just ground handling your horse, if you're trouble trailing the horse, whatever. These two things works for anything. So the first thing, and that is probably the most important one, and it works in all other areas of life as well. I've used this. I'm really scared of heights. And then I was with my husband in France, and they have a lot of canals, and we had to walk on a bridge over, yeah, it was a small river, and there was this small waterfall mechanical thingy, and a high bridge over this, really slim high bridge, and the water was making a lot of noise underneath it, and we had to go up this long stair and then over and then down this long stair. And I really use these breathing techniques to help get myself over this one. And I use them while riding as well, but it also works in all other aspects where you get scared. So what you need to do is you need to practice. I'm going to stand up for a minute. You need to practice breathing down here. What often happens if we get scared is all our breathing sits up here or only in the upper part of our body. What we need to do is we need to get the breathing all the way down to our tummy. And if you're scared and riding your horse and feeling unconfident, you have to exaggerate this. And a way to practice first getting the breathing right is lay down on the floor, on your bed, and put a book on your tummy above the navel. And then practice breathing in and breathing out while the book is rising and lowering. Of course, the air isn't going all the way down into the tummy because we have the diaphragm here, which is separating the lungs from the intestines and stuff. But it goes down, and when it goes down, we get a lot of room to have air into our lungs, and it presses on the intestines and stomach and stuff, and it will go a bit outwards. So it's important that you don't think about it might make you look fat. Because it probably does, but it works. And with a bit of training, you don't think about that anymore. So you have to practice breathing into your tummy and not with your shoulders, or not just expanding your rib cage up here. Then that is all very well, and remember to practice that when you're totally in the comfort zone, because then you can practice this. Then when you come to your horse and something gets a bit difficult, you have to find back to this good breathing. And you can do that with a couple of tricks. The first one, that is visualizing your breathing. I do this. I have a picture of a balloon in my tummy, and I imagine this balloon expanding and deflating. It goes out and in. And I can keep this picture. My balloon is blue. It can have any color you like. Whenever I get a bit scared, I visualize this balloon in my tummy going out and in and out and in. You could also visualize a lift going up and down and up and down. Whatever works for you. If it's hard to get the breathing going, you can imagine that you're breathing out through a straw. Because what we need to do to get the breathing going is we need a really good out breath, because we need to make room for good in breath. So if you come riding and you're getting a bit tense, then you imagine and then you can get the breathing going again, and you can visualize the breathing. Doing this breathing like you're breathing out through a straw, it gets it. You need to do a bit of put a bit of tension on the outbreak. It activates the breathing muscles, and when you've done a good out breath, it's a lot easier to have a good in breath, because then there's room in the lungs for new fresh air. What you can also do is you can, if you're riding, you can count how many steps can my horse take on an in breath, how many steps can my horse take on an out breath, and then maybe you will notice sometimes it's 4 and sometimes it's 7, and the more steps the horse can take, the better, because the deeper and the slower you're breathing. So this breathing is really going to be key to calming yourself. And if you calm yourself, then you will also calm your horse. That's one of the really strong connection, that if we are being tense and have shallow breathing, then our horse will most of the time, our horse will also be tense and have shallow breathing. And a tense horse is a lot more easily spooked than a relaxed one. So that's the breathing. The other one is the focus. And the focus is both a mental focus and a physical focus. The visualization of the breathing is actually a mental focus. It helps it works in two ways. It reminds you of breathing, and it gives the mind something constructive to do. Because if you're riding and you're thinking about, oh, there might be something. Now, I live in Denmark. We have nothing dangerous hiding in the bushes. You might live somewhere where you could actually have something dangerous. But in most cases, we don't meet really dangerous stuff while out riding, and especially not in the arena or wherever. So we need, if we keep watching out for what could my horse get, what could scare my horse, there might be, oh, there's a leaf turning the other way, or there's a mailbox, or whatever. If our mind is constantly searching for things that our horse could get scared by, then our horse will most definitely start searching for things as well. If we are focusing on breathing, then our mind will not have room to also focus on what could scare us. So that would actually turn down the stress level in both you and your horse. Yeah, and we have I've scheduled this so it's the time should be suitable in Australia. And yes, you have kangaroos. I imagine that might be mighty scary. We have deers here, and pheasants. Pheasants make a lot of noise when they suddenly get up from the undergrowth, and they can be pretty scary, even though I'm quite sure they don't eat horses. And you have snakes and stuff. Yeah, I know. Australia, I think it's the country with the most dangerous animals. And some of my family lived there for a couple of years. They're back now, but it was a bit of a wake-up call to find big spiders in the basement and stuff. So we have to keep our focus so that the horse can keep our focus. Because if we were in a situation where we were scouting for kangaroos, and then suddenly we meet a kangaroo, the horse is much more likely to become scared of the kangaroo and make a big spook than if we were focusing on breathing and being relaxed, and the horse was being relaxed, and then something happened. And that could be something real, like or some wildlife like kangaroos or deers or pheasants or other birds, or it could be cars and trucks and stuff like that. Yeah, and snakes are probably one of the few. I know they have cougars and stuff in the US that are also actually dangerous. But snakes are, of course, dangerous. But most of the time, we're actually not in any mortal danger while riding, and our horse is not in mortal danger. And if we can focus on going where we want to go, breathing like we want to do, it will be a lot more relaxed. And if we're in the arena, we can start practicing this stuff in the arena, because in the beginning, you will find that it is really hard to focus both on the breathing and on the riding. I had a bit of a revelation a while back in a training clinic where I rode another horse. I'm doing a trainer education of top of this instructor education I have. And we're meeting every 2 months, and then we have to ride other horses as well as our own. And that in itself is a big challenge for me. But I was riding this really nice mare, and I suddenly noticed that I could actually breathe and concentrate on building my dressage skills at the same time. We were doing some trot exercise stuff, and I could actually trot and have focus on my body and what I would have the horse do, and have a good breathing going at the same time. So that is it. It'll come, but it really takes some practice. So that was the mental focus, the visualization, then imagining we're just going, everything is fine, we're going nicely. Then we have the physical focus. And I will show you an exercise, which I have found really, really helpful. And it is the first I'm pulling out of the hat whenever I come to a new student. We set up something like this if they have confidence issues, if they need help to focus. So I'm just putting you back on my slides here. Because what we need to do is, what we have in here, this is the balloon. What we have here is a riding arena, a usual 20 by 40 meters. And up here on one end, the blue stuff here, that's poles. So I put on the ground 4 poles in this big plus formation. They need to be so much away from the edge of the arena that I can ride around them. And then I can do all kind of exercises with these 4 poles, because I can ride in a big circle around the poles. I can ride a small 10-meter circle around the pole. I can ride over the pole. I can ride around the next pole, and then I can ride a circle. So you can see there's lots of possibilities. There's a lot of things I can do here. I could also ride a figure 8 if I wanted to. And if you have, it's a bit hard to write nice figures with my mouse here, but if you have an issue with steering, maybe your steering isn't very good, if you're doing dressage tests or maybe a trail riding test or something like that, and you need to steer precisely, this exercise is also very good, because you have the poles close by and you can very easily see if you're going in the right direction or if you're doing something wrong, and you can make a lot of different patterns. And it's a really, really great exercise. If you don't have an arena or you don't have poles, if you have an arena and you're not allowed to bring toys in there, you can use the letters in the arena or the fence post or something like that and say, well, then I ride to this one, then I turn left, then I turn right, then I do this, then I ride up the middle or on the, yeah, true. I don't know what that is called in English. Well, or you ride a circle, or you ride a 10-meter circle, or you ride a figure 8, but it's a lot easier to evaluate your steering and to keep focus on steering precisely if you have these things on the ground to steer around. And if you don't have poles, 4 buckets or some cones or whatever will do the trick. If you're riding outside, trail riding, you can use, well, then I'm going to walk down to this stone, and then I'm going to ride over to the other side of the road. Then I'm going to trot down to this tree, and then I'm going to make a halt at that stone. And Ah, yeah, the diagonal, of course. Thank you, Pam. So we have a lot of options, and this focus on having a plan at all times, having a plan of where are we going, what pace are we going, how are we going there. It really, really helps build confidence. Not only because it gives you something to focus on, both physically and mentally, but also because, sorry, whenever you get there, you will add a bit more confidence to your confidence account. You will boost the comfort zone a bit. You will put a bit more into this one because you had a small success of the horse actually going where you wanted him to go. If the horse doesn't go anywhere near where you wanted him to go, well, then you know you have to go back and look at some basic steering, look at some, is the steering working, is the brakes working, is the forward working, can you actually control your horse? Because if you have a horse that you can't control properly, then it's really hard to build the confidence on him, because you will always be in doubt as to whether if something happens, that you can stop the horse, that you can control the horse, that you can do what you want with the horse, make him do what you want him to do. So we have to always think about how to make the steering and the what we call that, I wouldn't say obedience, because it's not about beating the horse into submission and having him really obedient, but it's about having him well trained, having him have a good understanding of the signals, so that we at all times can ask him to halt or to turn left or turn right, and we know that he understands. And then we can start building our confidence, because if he doesn't understand the stop or the turn or whatever, then it's really difficult to build our own confidence riding him. Yay. So what you're going to do next time you go out to the horse is, before you go out there, practice breathing. Tonight when you're going to bed, lay down on the bed for a bit, put a book on your tummy, and practice breathing all the way into your tummy. You can also stand up in front of a mirror and watch, is your tummy going out and in and out and in and out, or is it just all up here? And it might take a while to actually transform your breathing. If you're doing stuff like yoga or meditation, mindfulness, stuff like that, you will already have this focus on the breathing, and it will just be a question of taking it with you to the horse. If you don't do stuff like that, it might be a great help as well, because it builds on the same tools or techniques. Yeah. So you have the breathing, you have the focus, you have the keep in mind your comfort zone. How can you expand this comfort zone so you can, if you come back in 2 months and you take out your 3 pieces of paper and you make some new ones with a new date on, you will see that you have moved a lot of stuff onto this one from both the yellow and the red one. Because we have to remember, we have to keep stretching the comfort zone, because if we don't do that, it will deflate. It's like if we have a balloon and we just leave it, it's filled with air, and we just leave it sitting in the corner of the sitting room, then after a while it will shrink. So we have to keep expanding our comfort zone, even if we just want to be able to keep being able to do what we're doing right now. But since you're here today, it's probably because you want to expand your comfort zone. And to do that, we start with the breathing and we start with working on the focus. Yes. So this was the technical input I'm going to give you today. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell you about the online training I have planned for you if you want to join on this Sunday, and some additional material as well, because I know for some of you, going out, doing the breathing, doing the focus exercises, that will take you a very, very long way. And if you combine that with your regular writing lessons, that might actually just do the trick. For some of you, you might want some more help, and I have a solution for you that I'm going to present in a minute. What I will suggest that you do is that if you have any questions, please feel free to write them now while I present you with this training opportunity. Because what I'm going to do is, on Sunday, October the 4th, I'm going to do a live training like this one, but we're going to, instead of an hour, we're doing 2.5 hours. It's been scheduled to 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. and it's scheduled to Sydney time, because I hope that's convenient for you, and it's really convenient for me because that's during my office hours when it's evening in Australia. And what we're going to do is I'm going to present you with my 4-part program, where we're going to talk about the learning and the behavior, because I've said a bit about we have to make sure that the steering work, that the brakes work. Yeah, but how? Well, we don't have time right now to bring in the entire how, but I'm going to give you the how. Actually, most of the how is going to be about is going to be in material already available. So the moment you click on the link I'm going to present you with in a moment, and you have registered and paid up, the moment you will have access to this learning and behavior material. Then we're going to work with what we're going to be covering in part of the live session is the physical fear and how to work with it. We're going to do some more about the breathing. We're going to talk a bit more about the physiology of fear, both for you and the horse and the nervous system, and how we can trick the nervous system into doing what we want it to do. Then we're going to spend a big part of the time on practical training. What should you go out and do? Because that's the most important part. That is giving you tools to go out there and do it and get better and work on it. And then in the end, we're going to cover something about goal setting, which also works in all other aspects of life. Goal setting, getting there, because it's all very well that we know what to do, but we also need to get out there and get it done and do it. So I'm going to show you the offer. It's going to pop up here in a minute. Beep. It should be there now. And this offer, you can just click it. It opens in another window. What I'm going to do apart from this offer is approximately, it's based in Danish kroner, but it is approximately, in the next 48 hours, it is approximately 100 Australian dollars. That's a bit less than 100 US dollars, and it's a bit less than 500 Danish kroner. You get this 2.5 hour online training on Sunday. If you can't make it live Sunday evening, it's going to be recorded, and I'm going to spend my Monday morning cutting it into pieces regarding to subject and putting it out on the course page, because then you can watch the part about the learning and the behavior, and you can watch the part about the physical physiology of the fear, and you can watch the part about the practical training at your convenience, and you can watch it over and over again, because I know it's not just enough to have it once, but maybe you want to revisit certain parts. So I'm going to cut it into easily accessible pieces for you, which will be available to you permanently. You will also get access to, as I said, the moment you sign up, you get access to this learning theory, behavior, motivation of the horse material. I will show you that in a minute, what it looks like. And I think this is one of the really good things. That is what really helps my Danish students. I have a special Facebook group for you. It's a closed group. Your friends can't see what you're writing in there. You get also immediate access to that, and you can write questions to me. So if you sign up for this course within the next 48 hours for the 100 Australian dollars, or after 48 hours, 150 Australian dollars, you will get the 2.5 hour in-depth training. You will get the bonus material about learning theory and motivation, which you can go out and practice on your horse right away to find out, well, is his steering good? Is his brakes good? And what can I do to improve you? To improve. Then you'll get the Facebook group where you can ask your question. If you can't make it live on Sunday, you're at a birthday, or it's the middle of the night in your part of the world, or something else, don't worry, sign up anyway. If you have questions, you just write them to me in the Facebook group or email me beforehand, and I will answer them live. And then you can just look at the recording afterwards and see the answer to all your questions. And if then there arises more questions, you just write them in the Facebook group, and I will answer you there. And I will promise you that I will do in a month or so, I will do a follow-up Q&A session just like this, where you can have all your questions answered again live, because often it is a lot easier to answer questions like this, and you can ask follow-up questions in the chat instead of having to write them in the Facebook group. You can also make requests if you need a training video about something specific. I will probably oblige and make it to you, because that's a really good way to help. I'm just going to show you how to, or what it is that you're getting, how it looks, because it's really easy to attend. You just sign up, you get access to this web page I'm going to show you now. You get access to this web page. You have here the welcome. There's a link to the Facebook group. And then you have the bonus videos. And you have here, there's also a handout with some exercises, a test sheet for your horse, where you can write, test and see how your signal's working right now, and then you can come back in a couple of months and revisit these tests and see, have your horse improved. We have one video here about horse behavior. We have a video about horse motivation, and we have a video about horse learning. And I can just go show you this. It's similar to what I've been doing here. I'm here talking. We have slide presentations. This figure here, which is really important for the learning theory, is also in this in the handouts material. So we have a lot of online training for you. Right here we have almost an hour of educational videos that is available the moment you sign up. And you have the Facebook group. You can go ask questions straight away. And you have the in-depth training on Sunday, which I'm looking really very much forward to, where you can also send in your questions straight away, or you can wait and ask them live. And even if you're on live, you're very welcome to send in the questions beforehand if it's something you think I should do a bit of preparation for. Yeah. So, any questions? I can see. Thank you for the response, saying it was really helpful. Good. As I said, you have 48 hours. If you need to consider this, and I understand that, you have 48 hours to sign up for the discount. And then the price will be, after that, the price will be this approximately 150 Australian dollars instead. I think $100, did a bit of research, that's about the price of between 1 and 3 writing lessons. And this is material that you can go out there, you can use it, and you can keep revisiting it. I guarantee that you will have access for it for at least a year, and most of it you can download. And I haven't, in these more than 2 years I've been doing online courses, I haven't taken any material down. So people who bought courses from me 2 years ago, they still have access to all their materials. I just don't give you a lifetime guarantee, because if in 5 years I decide to do something different and don't do online courses, I don't want to sit with the liability that I have to keep some sort of web service available for the next 100 years. So I guarantee you a year, and in practical, it's going to be a lot longer. And the Facebook group just stays there. You can keep asking questions, and I will once in a while come back with live Q&A sessions for you. And as I said, if you can't make it live Sunday, but would like to join, please feel free to sign up anyway, because you will have it, the replay available. You can watch the replay right after we're done, and I will make it easy, digestible, in more digestible sizes for you on Monday. Yes. If you haven't got any questions, then I'm just going to say thank you for attending. If you have any questions regarding this webinar or regarding the course before signing up for the live training, please feel free, just email me. You can just answer the email sent out about this this webinar, and it will end up directly in my inbox. If you're sitting here watching the replay, if you write anything in the chat, it will just go by email to me, and I can answer you from there. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you really can go out and try this out. Remember the breathing, remember the focus. That is the 2 most powerful tools to start with. And then if you find out, well, I need help with the steering, I need help with something else, we will cover that in the live training and in the bonus material. And of course, if you sign up for the in-depth training, you look at the bonus material about the behavior and learning theory, and you have questions regarding that, we will cover that on Sunday as well. So thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you all. And really feel free, if you have any questions, just email me. No problem. I'm glad you like it. Thank you for the feedback.